Okay, so this is my 2006 Mazda 3. It's a S-Touring model. And I just installed an Eonon GA 5151F. It was about a month ago. So we're watching it boot up right now. It does take, I don't know, 25 seconds or so to boot up. You can obviously watch on the ticker on YouTube here. It was fairly easy to install. I will point out some issues with the fit and finish, which is really good overall. This side is a little higher. It could have been something with my install where I made a mistake. And then everybody points out this gap here. I've pulled this in and out twice now. I had the GPS cable getting loose on me. After pulling it out the second time, this really does not want to stay in. It wants to pull out, and some people have suggested switching it with the switching the clips down here with the stock clips for the stock stereo. Could work. We'll check it out sometime, but for now it's fine. We do have SD card slots labeled SD and GPS. Not much of a point on this particular unit. I do notice these two card slots. This one snaps in nicely. This one doesn't. Oh well. I got a 16 gigabyte here. I have a 64 gigabyte here. There's nothing according to the manuals to where it says it should accept a 64 gigabyte, but it works fine, and I have yet to have any issues with it. Down here I do have a flash drive hooked up to one of the two USBs. Just ran that down through. I actually had another product, a Yator before this. This really sucked. I was disappointed with it. So I gave up on that, but I had the wire for it running through here. You can see my ashtray. I sliced it up a little bit. There's a hole back here. Not really a hole, probably just a notch. It's been a while since I've done it. And I just pulled the wire through. There's plenty of length on this wire. I could probably have run it all the way to the center console if I wanted to. But yeah, that tucks. I can put some mints in here with the ashtray. And I do still have the light going. But yeah, that closes nicely. It looks clean. I'm happy with that. This car doesn't have the Bose setup, so it was very easy to install. This only took me maybe an hour, being fairly careful. I did this upper dash piece, I did change that out at the time. Those GPS and Wi-Fi receivers are up here, taped in nicely. Worked really well. There's a ton of wires, and you really do have to push this thing in just right to get it to stick in there. One reason I really like this version was because it has the newer version of Android on it. And I was excited about Google Maps. Gotta say, Google Maps are terrible. At least offline. I just don't see any good with the offline version of them. You can download separate areas for each map, and it's really difficult to download them all. And then when you are offline, out wherever you are, you can navigate from a place that you are that is on that map to another place that's on that map. But you really do need a connection to actually get it to show you the way. Once you connect it up and set up the navigation and then start driving, you can drop the connection and go from there. But that's difficult. Whole point of navigation is to just have it there at your fingertips all the time and not have to mess with any dongles or connect it to my phone. So I do have here maps. If you go to navigation, I got it set up to where it just pops right up. Here is pretty impressive. I'm very happy with it. I set it up to where it's at night all the time. I do notice that white screen there. That's bright. That is rough. So it's nice to have it set up dark. I would show you it, but let's see here. So we do have modes to go through. That's the AVN. If you want to set up a rear-facing camera or a front-facing camera, I am thinking about doing that and running some recording software. We got radio. Don't use it too often. DVD I have yet to use. This is completely virgin right up here. And then we got music. I do notice when you're going through music, and I haven't tried the DVD slot, so I haven't tried putting a bunch of data on a disc. But I do notice that it wants to play off the main SD card slot. It plays off it automatically. It plays the first track of the first album every time. And that's really annoying. I'm pretty sure if you are listening to music when you get out of the car, it will resume the previous track you were on. But it seems like rarely when I get out of the car am I listening to music. I'm listening to a podcast on Beyond Pod, or I have my Bluetooth connected. So it goes to the last thing. If it doesn't have anything to remember from the last time you shut it off, it's just going to go to the first track that you were on. The first track on the first album. Really, just properly annoying. You can go obviously into other areas, into the flash memory, into the USB. The USB 2 is the only one you're going to be able to hook up a flash drive to. The USB 1, I guess, is purely for peripherals or cameras or whatnot. So that is a little difficult to figure out which one that is. And it does have this nice little screen here. If you go to an album, oh, whoops, there's video, F1, any F1 fans. If you do go to music, and you do have to toggle through these every time. I lost my train of thought. You can go over here and choose the track you want to be on. And obviously you can go over here. Over here and choose whatever album you want. Let's see. And then obviously the steering wheel controls, they work great with the unit. I do notice at times the mute button is overly sensitive. Let's see. I often use the Bluetooth. I don't have it hooked up right now, but it works great. It's got all my call logs in there. I can just bring up one of my contacts just like that. Let's see here. Then there's the trip mode issue. Let's flip the lights on. A lot of people don't understand what's going on with the trip mode. There is on the original stereo, there is a video game cheat code to bring up the mile per gallon and other trip things that you can bring up over here rather than just having the time. I have yet to fix the time on this. It just shows me my miles per gallon. But a lot of people don't understand it. You simply just hold down the mode. You get a good beep, and then you toggle through each thing here. The one thing I don't understand at this point is how to reset it. When it was set up with the old stereo, I could reset it at any time, and now I don't really understand how to do that. So that miles per gallon, that's been my average miles per gallon for several tanks in a row now. There is an application inside the stereo called Control Set, and it brings you up with the stock controls for the stock stereo. I really don't understand it, though. I don't know what it does. I've tried to hold down buttons here and see if things will reset, and nothing happens. So I really don't understand it. Or I don't understand the point of the app altogether. So I'm confused by that. But now that you do have a car with an amazing Android setup on it, you have the availability of other things. That was me starting up the car. As you can see, it just the stereo just shuts down, turns right back on really quickly. If you want to reboot the stereo, you really do have to turn off the car for probably about a minute. And so that's kind of rough at times, because sometimes this thing doesn't boot up correctly. I've had it happen a few times on me. Let's see. One more thing in settings. The element. You can change the color on here. If we turn on the lights, we do see we have red. I noticed some people had issues with it because they would turn it a color and then the color would go away. But that's just simply because you got to turn on the lights. The color stays as long as you want, as long as the lights are on. So there's the color right there. Works fine. Shut down the lights here. Don't need it lit up, do we? So the next thing to look at is torque. It's a simple Android application that gives you via Bluetooth stats on your car. I do have some GPS stats here. So those are working all the time with the GPS, regardless of what's going on with my Bluetooth dongle on my OBD port. If we probably can't see anything down there, but if we pull this sucker out, I got this for just a few dollars. Really cheap. I don't know what the deal is. Every time I fire up this car, start going, this stuff does not work. I don't know what's going on there. But when I do start rolling, when I get a chance, I just reach over and unplug the thing, and then I plug it right back in. And suddenly all the stats pop up magically. I really don't understand it, but that's how it goes. It'll probably pop up in just a second here. Right now I got throttle percent, current MPG, speed, coolant, load, miles per gallon on the average. Oops. And this did not work still. Just unplug it again here and plug it right back in. And then on the next one I got fuel pressure, trip speed, which is the average speed of the trip, and then there's the speed for the actual wheels turning as opposed to the GPS speed right here. The revs, that's nice to have on there, but as you can see, all those stats are up there. It's a nice cold evening here, so that usually rides around 185, 188, sometimes 190. Load percent, throttle percent, that's it at idle right now. But this is really nice. You can see how high you are. I really like this. You can look at this at any time. It's nice to have the stuff up here to tell you where you're at as far as miles per gallon. These two numbers, the current MPG when I have it up here and the MPG right here, they differ wildly. Maybe, I don't know, 5 or so miles per gallon higher here than it is here. I do notice when I do a fill up on this car using Fuelly, if anyone uses Fuelly, FUELLY.com, I find that I get much better average mile per gallon than I see here. Although this shows far better miles per gallon than what I see with Fuelly, so it's kind of a rough thing. A lot of different options with this application, and I'm really happy with it overall. I wish I could see what time it is right up here. Obviously I could set that up over here too, so I don't know. And I'm thinking that's about it. I do notice that there are some nice things, like I had, like certain Android devices, it's good to store things on the actual device rather than on the flash storage or the SD cards or whatever. I did notice my podcast app was working a good bit better when I had it actually running on the off the stereo itself rather than off of one of the SD cards. So I don't know, I might go back to that. I don't want to fill this thing up too quickly. I have been trying to put more applications on it just to make sure, because this is Android 4.4. Right now they're just coming out with phones that are 6.0, I believe. So get your applications now, because if they never make this upgradable, you're not going to be able to download them in the future. There's a lot of applications I have on older phones that are on that phone, but I know if I delete them, I can never download that application again because they've updated it and the phone is not new enough for the newest update, so you can't download the app at all. So you might want to think about loading it up with more apps. I definitely have to. I did download AutoGuard for when I do possibly get a dash cam, but I don't expect to do that, but I do want it just in case. There are plenty of applications on this to start with. OEM, I believe that. Yeah, I think that's the application where you can change what the view is, what you see as you fire up the vehicle on the screen. Right now it obviously shows the Mazda logo and the Eonon logo. Sorry, my voice is getting a little tired and you're probably sick of hearing me anyway, so I think I'll end this video, and if I forgot anything I'll leave it in the notes. But overall I'm very happy with this. My CD player busted in my old stereo, just telling me no disc over and over again, and that got pretty tiring, and I tried this dumb thing, wasn't happy, just no control over it, so I got sick of it, and this is a decidedly better thing to have. I got navigation right on the screen rather than looking down at my phone all the time. So it's definitely a more enjoyable experience overall, and the sound quality is pretty good, so it's definitely worth checking out. I hope I answered a few questions for some people on this that the other videos haven't quite addressed. And just leave me any comments and I'll do my best to get back at you. Thank you.